Am I any different than a few years ago? Does that make it right? I don't know if it makes it right. I think the post-match interviews they're necessary because the AFL want them. Does the media people want them? I suppose you wouldn't do them if you didn't want them. Some coaches are comfortable. I'm not. It's the last thing I think about until you want to be first, because if you're first, you've won. If you're second, you've lost. I wouldn't have thought so, but if people view that, then I've got to look at it. So I think that answers that part. If it's not good, it's not good for Carlton. So that answers that part. It's fun. It's interesting. It's an interesting question because I did speak to Christy about that, and she viewed it, and her view was there's nothing untoward. Now that's her view. Okay, and I trust her view. So I think I've answered those three questions. Look, in all honesty, I don't watch those shows, and I was only made aware this morning, and I really didn't ask for content. So it's better not to comment on something that I haven't heard, and I don't want to comment on it. I think this last one is totally over the top. Personally, I mean that's my view. Totally over the top. I spoke to Cameron, and he's of the opinion that it's over the top. Well, I think until you're in that position, you'll never know. Okay, we're fighting for victory against the top side. We've levelled off. We're within a goal. I thought we were robbed of a goal. Until you're put in that position, until you walk in someone else's shoes, you'll never know. And with all due respect, I'm not here to say that you don't because you haven't played football, you haven't coached, but that's the fact of life. I wouldn't put an opinion on someone who is in a position that I don't understand. Rob, I sometimes wonder about the agendas. I mean, I've got to say that. I wonder where it comes from. I wonder, really, you know, it's interesting. I'll call it my gap year because one, I didn't know I was going to come back to coaching, but it was interesting being in the media and people saying, "God, it's boring." You know, like, it is boring. I don't go to my way to make it non-boring or unboring or whatever the case may be. That's you know, my media conferences haven't been, I suppose, picture perfect, and I'm the first to say that. But it's not by design to hurt anyone. It's not by design. It's to finish it as quick as I can and get it and do what I probably do best, and that's dialogue with players, dialogue with coaches, and so forth. Yeah, you know, I'm probably opening up my soul a little bit here, but I find it very, very difficult to talk publicly, and I've been doing it for 30 years. I mean, and there are those that would probably understand my position. I mean, I'm a non-note taker, so therefore I don't use notes, and I find it difficult talking to. But part of the responsibility of senior coach, which at Footscray days it was probably incidental in many respects because the game was still basically in an amateur position. You know, I spoke to the members at the end of the game, and you might have had a couple of, you know, the Sunday morning, because it was all Saturday afternoon stuff. But no, I've always found it difficult. I spoke to Cameron to say, "Have you got an issue?" And he said, "No, it was cleared up Saturday." He said, "There's no need to have rung." But I'm glad I did, because the response was exactly what I thought it was. I've been compromised for 30 years. If that's the case, I think you should go back through a bit of footage and see that this, you know, I've coached that way. I've coached that way for 30 years, and if the channels are still keeping that footage, they will see that nothing much has changed. I pride myself on having a cool head with directives to my player group under all circumstances. I get over things very quickly. I move on. I'm not saying I've got a photographic mind whatsoever, but I do see the game. I don't need a lot of vision. I just need the technical vision that's in close. These things are always up. I can remember games very, very readily. So I think you're jumping to this year and saying he's gone nuts this year. Look, I'm first to say I'm a very passionate coach. I get emotionally involved. I don't think my players expect any less or any different. They know I'm totally on board for them, and I've been like that since I've coached. The conference, not the conference, but the dinner we had on Monday night, which I've got to say was without a doubt the most outstanding meeting that I've been at, because you just felt so comfortable that I got on very well with Andrew, but I think Gil was a different all over. And we expressed at the time that Elsa Clarkson, Brad Scott from time to time, Chris Scott from time to time, and others feature because they are very emotional. Others are pretty, they're just the way they are. Guy McKenna, and I love Guy, and I get on extremely well with him. He takes it the way it is and doesn't show a great deal of emotion. But personally, I just think that the superstars are the players. There's that much to look at. How did Franklin get his goals? How did Pike ruck against Warnock? There's so much. We are such a sideshow. I'm not saying I underestimate coaching, because it's essential, but we are just a sideshow. And when you become a feature of it, I don't think I think we get too much airplay for when you look at world sport, in particular the soccer and the rugby that have both played here and certainly massive in Europe and even the gridiron in the States. It's we are 5 or 6 times more represented on.
Is that right? Really? The NFL, they mic the coaches up, but they've got 1 million cameras there.
Yeah, I think you'll.
Sidelines.
Yeah, but the NFL. No, I think you'll find that the players that aren't playing get probably more than the coaches that are there. There's a personal opinion. I'm not here to make. I'm not here to make rules and regulations. I'm not here to say to Channel 7 you can't do it or Fox you can't do it. It is part and parcel. I know it is. I think there is overkill. That's my personal view. I think we are such a sideshow that the true champions of our game are on the ground. They to me represent what Australian rules football is about. We're not incidental when I say that. I want to downplay it, but to me, people want to see. If I took, for instance, my grandson. Now he's the next generation coming through. He wants to see more of Menzel. He wants to see more of Murphy. He wants to see more of Robbie Nornock. And so.
You want to see that granddad?
No. He didn't go to the last game because of that.
Okay.
He's 5. He loves his footy, and he won't go tomorrow night. My granddaughter will. Believe it or not, he's had an opportunity to go tomorrow night. Doesn't want to go, which is sad. But that's 1,000 other kids will, but he won't.
Why does he want to go?
I just think that he's sick of seeing his grandfather either booed or on the screen.